Hi, good morning, everyone. Is it audible to everyone? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, it is audible.
Yes,
Yeah,
good
good.
morning.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, thanks to everyone who has confirmed. So before understanding today's concepts, let's try to recollect it, what we were understanding, and then we go ahead with today's object. Yeah, today what we are understanding, yesterday what we were discussing this, if we just try to recollect it, yeah, we got the two concepts. One, it was with the cron job. Yeah, how do we define the scheduling based activities on the Linux system? That is one activity. So that is a cron job activity. But how does the cron job is working? This is background. We have the cron t service, which is up and running, and this cron t service keep on checking about the cron tab file every second. And if any time is matched with the cron tab, yeah, that's like a time format with the system date and time, then it is going to trigger that the command which are defined. Yeah, the cron D is the main service. If that we need to make sure that is up and running. But how do we check it? The status of the cron D service is systemctl status cron D. Yeah, that is one point about the service. Then how do we define the cron tab options? Yeah, how many attributes we have to define the cron tab?
5.
Yes, those are all the 5 attributes are available. So what are those 5? Can you give me that quickly? The name, that's attributes.
Minute, hour, day, month, and day of the week.
Yeah, so that is about a minute. Yes, after the minutes, then hours. Hours to this next day of the month. Then month of the year. And finally, day of the week. Yes, there are the 5 attributes. And finally, one more attribute which we have this is command. Which command does we want to execute? That could be command or that could be script. Mostly which we use the scripts. But script contains actual activities. Yeah, that's about do you want to take the log files backup, or do you want to manage the services, or do you want to manage the deployments? Yes, activities on the base of about our application requirement, but we need to make sure that that particular activity on particular time it is triggered or not. That is a responsibility of the cron tab service. Yeah, some examples also which we are understanding. So this like the every 1 minute point of view or particular Monday and particular time. Yes. So you can just refer this to Google, but you should understand the 5 attributes if you keep in the mind. Then whenever you are searching about your exact requirement in the Google, you can get it and you can modify that section. Yeah, this is one point which we are trying to understand. There is one option. And one more important point in the cron tab is log file location also. Whether the cron tab is triggered or not, how do we check it is? So what is the log file name of the cron?
/var log cron job.
Yeah, so that is in the /var log. And then we have the cron is the file name. And which we can use the tail -f and we can verify this. So whether the scheduled activity is triggered or not, and if it is triggered, what's happened? Is it successfully executed or is it failed? Any error from the script? Yes, we can check it that. Yeah, this is about one concept which we are trying to understand, that first cron tab, and then we started understanding about the processes also. And first we are understanding on the Windows system, the task manager using that, and list of all the process, like a foreground process, background process. And one important point, each process running is nothing but that is going to consume that memory and RAM. That is very, very important. You are starting that one file, or you are starting this like yes, one service. That is a background. It is going to consume that system resources, especially CPU and the memory and the disk anyway. That is if you have this any data, the data to write it, read it. That is the disk operations. Yeah, the processes verification is very, very important. But how do you know that list of all the processes which are running on the Linux system is? So what is the command for it?
ps-e.
Yeah, ps-e for like all the process. But if you need that process full information, then we can use it ps-eef. F is for the full information and E for that all the process. And we have some other options also in that ps command, that is -u. That means user based process we can see. Yeah, -u and username. So the process which are belong to that user. Yeah, E, that is everything. F, full information, and -u, username, and -p, process ID. Yes, display information for the process ID also, which you can use it. And we are mentioning some options about that. Yes, tree structure in that format, if you need it, you can use it -e with a caps H or -e with -forest. Display a process in the tree structure notation. Yeah, so until that's we were trying to understand it, if I remember that. Yes, right. So that is until that's yeah, yesterday we were talking these points. Is it clear about this?
Yes, sir.
Any queries, questions, please let me know before moving to that next concept. Some more, I mean, the same concept, but some more options, understanding on the process mechanism. Everyone, are you following the lab guides? Are you referring to the forums? And yesterday I updated that all the recorded videos also. I forgot it on Thursday, the video also updating, and yesterday I updated that. Yeah, fine, good. So let me continue. This next option is, yeah, suppose whenever I'm using that the ps-ef command or ps-e with the forest option. But here we don't see that. Okay, it is listing the process information, but we don't see that the each process related CPU utilization and memory utilization. Yeah, it is just giving that the process name and the process related process ID. And this is the child process. This process is managing by this threaded process. So there are all the processes which are managing by this parent process. Only this information we have, but in the performance and tuning times, we need to collect that system metrics, that's especially the CPU utilization and memory utilization. So system level overall CPU utilization, overall memory utilization. But if the system is consuming that, the memory utilization or CPU utilization, definitely background processes are going to consume the CPU utilization, memory utilization. Someone is using this, right? A process is using that. But how do you know that the which process is consuming that, how much amount of the CPU utilization and how much amount of the memory utilization? In the ps-ef, we don't get those details. We say that auxiliary command. Use that auxiliary command to get it the full details of CPU and memory utilization. So what is the command for that is ps -aux, or directly you can give that ax. So this is an auxiliary command, we say that. Now we see that some more details we are getting that. Just a minute. So one member is trying to log in, but he's not able to log in. So let me share that the video. every day we don't share the link, so automatically you will get the notification. Are you getting the notifications? Automatically bell is ringing that
Yes,
about
sir.
the
We
meeting.
got today.
Yeah, today, yes. Because yesterday I was adding all the members, right? Yes, today onwards, yes, whenever I start the meeting, so you will get it automatically the notification which you can join. So everyone is make sure that you have registered, with a Zoom ID and log in with about your Zoom ID. Without you having about your Zoom ID, you cannot log in that. Fine, cool. So let me continue. Yeah, so now we are talking about it, auxiliary command. So normal ps-f is not giving the details of the memories or the CPU utilization, but in the auxiliary command, you can get it. Yeah, what are the details it is providing us if you just observe some important attributes? Yes, this process is initiated by which user? Yeah, the command and then command related user. Yes, which user has started. The process ID of that command. Command is itself is the process. Yes, this is a process, the process related user. And what is the process ID? Yes, how much CPU utilization that is using that? And how much memory percentage it is using that? And what is the virtualization size? That is virtual memory which is using. That is some cache system. Around 240 MB it is using that. That is a cache by this. And is it having any the interactive session of that? But there are all the question mark, it is not showing anything. And another important field which we have this is status. Is it running or is it sleeping or is it idle process? So how do you know that the process is running it or not? This status is very, very important. So this status is very, very important. And when this process has been started and what is the time. So all the details that we can have it in the PS auxiliary command. So PS auxiliary command. Now we see this like all the process and process related to CPU utilization, memory utilization. So you'll get it all the details of it. And with but it is not given the parent process ID. It is going to give the only process ID. So if you like to know the status information of the process and if you like to know the percentage of the CPU utilization, percentage of the memory utilization. So one more arguments to that the PS command is that is AUX. We'll call it this one as auxiliary format, auxiliary command. But how do you know that the system level percentage of the CPU utilization and memory utilization? Yeah, so each process wise here we are able to get the percentage of the CPU and percentage of the memory. And here decide like the process, is it idle or is it the sleeping mode? So that's also which we can get it that. Yes, you see that some process are in that running mode. And now we are using that vagrant SH. SH is in a running state. But a remaining process is a sleeping or idle mode. Yes, now you see that PS auxiliary command, whatever we have executed, that was just executed. That was in the running process. And this is about some internal, the worker thread which is running for it. And this is also running internal worker thread. And this is vagrant sh command. Yeah, so only some process are in that running state, but remaining either are in idle or sleeping. And another important status which we should know is Z status. is if the process, any process which is marked with the jet status, that process we'll call it as a zombie process. So what do we call that process? Zombie process. So remaining, I mean, the process status, that's fine. We don't take that much the care of that. But if you see this, the zombie process, this is very, very important, especially whenever we talk about the performance and tuning. We need to find the zombie process and we need to kill those zombie process. How do you get a list of all the zombie processes? Yes, you can use it, PS auxiliary, go for that grep of, if we just apply to the jet, but we have this jet in other lines. We don't mind that, but in the status section, you can find it. If it is showing about it any jet option, then we can see that process is the zombie process. But we don't have any zombie process yet. But this is JD has been identified in another keyword. No, we don't want that. That's keyword. We are expecting that in the status section. In the status section, any process which shows that the jet status, that process we say that zombie process. Yeah, identifying the zombie process is one of the important things. Yeah, more zombie process, the more unnecessarily system resources are consuming that. What is the zombie process? If we just talking that, suppose in PS, let me go for that in the tree structure. As we are understanding, this is a parent process and this is a child process, child and child. They're all sub-process of this parent process. But this parent process has been killed. This parent process has been killed, but this child process still, they're all up and running. Actually, what is the point is whenever we kill that the parent process, automatically child process also will be killed, which are having the reference of the parent process. But parent process has been killed. That means this process is down, but still these child process are running there. But means these are all not getting used, but they're all going to consume that some amount of the CPU and some amount of the memories. So which process we will call it as a zombie process? The process which is not having the parent process. So this process, there is no usage of this process, but they're all up, this process is up and running and it is going to consume that some amount of the memory and CPU. Then we need to identify those process and we need to kill those process. So how do you kill the process? If you have the process ID and you can take it and you have the kill option, I will talk at the next point, and we can kill the process. Yeah, so in the status section, in the auxiliary command, one of the important status what we have this is zombie process. So how do we identify the zombie process? And how do we kill those zombie process? Yeah, so the auxiliary command is giving that the process information. This process is initiated by the which user and what is the process ID of it, what is the CPU utilization, what is the memory utilization, and as well as what is the virtual memory it is using that, and what is the time it was started. Yes, all this information that we can have it from this auxiliary command. But this auxiliary command is not showing that system level CPU utilization, system level memory utilization. It is showing that process level CPU utilization and process level memory utilization. But it is not given the overall system resources. So next, what is the command that we use it, especially to analyze the performance metrics of the system. Performance metric, they all will call it as a metrics of the system. Performance metrics about the CPU utilization, about the memory utilization. how many processes are running that, how many processes are sleeping mode, zombie process, how many we have, ideal process, how many we have. They're all important as to analyze the system capacity, resource consumption. Is what is the important command that's mostly which we use it to analyze it. All these details is top command, TOP. So it is going to give that yes, each process wise the details about the CPU utilization, percentage of the CPU utilization, percentage of the memory utilization. And not only that, it is going to give the system level resources information also. System level and the process level. Yes, now you see that system D is a process which is no CPU utilization, but it is consuming the some amount of the percentage of utilization. And it is using some virtualization memory. It is keep on updating that, you see. And this is a priority of that, the process and which user has started, what is the process ID of this, the process. Now the top is also one process which is up and running. And now this is the top command, and this is a process ID which has been created for it. And that is also using the some amount of the CPU utilization memory. So this is the process level information. PS auxiliary. Here also you can see the status of the process. Is it sleeping mode or idle mode? Yeah, now you can see that all the process information in the task section. How many total tasks are running that? 116 tasks that's running that. They're all the process. How many are in running state? 1. How many are in the sleeping mode? 114 are in the sleeping mode. Do you have any stopped process? No stopped process. And do you have any zombie process? No zombie process. Here also you will get it clearly. Do you have any zombie process which are up and running in the system? But which process is the zombie process? Status which shows that the jet, that process is a zombie process. Yeah, identifying the zombie process is important. Yeah, this is about processes information. You see that's complete. It is given that in single line with the top command. You can use it the PS auxiliary also. And the top command is like the system is up from the 5 days. Yes, I didn't restart the system and it was up for 5 days back. And current sessions, how many sessions we have? That means logged in sessions to the system is we have almost 5 users. How to get it list of all the users is who command, right? But in the top command, it is listing that users information and load average time. Yes, this is the load average. Last 1 minute, what is the load average? What is the last 5 minutes load average on the system? What is the 15 minutes load average? 1 minute, 5 minutes, 15 minutes load average. And the tasks and the CPU utilization. Yes, the 0 utilization, we are good. But if it shows that something 70% or 80%, then we need to check it about it, which process consumes the more CPU utilization. So I mean that process is having that high load. Yeah, so usage wise, that's like a percentage of the CPU utilization. And needs process, that's the priority of that the process. Do you have any prioritized the process in that? And ideal process, ideal percentage, that is a 99.8% is ideal. Yeah, now the system is not using any the CPU utilization. Yes, we can check it the CPU utilization, and here you can check it the memory utilization. Yes, memory in the MBs it is showing that 1817 MB total. That means the system is having this approximately 2 GB capacity. Out of that, how much free is available? 939 MB is the free. and which has been used 226, and buffer or cache which is using almost 651. All these process to manage it. Some temporary cache is required, buffer is required. Yes, that is using 651, and actual process the consumption during runtime 226 MB. Total, this is the used one, and this is the free one. And the swap memory, it is also allocated the same the GB, that is RAM, whatever the size we have, the swap is also allocated, and it is a free and used 0%. Swap always recommended 0%. If the swap is getting used, something is nothing but whenever the memory is full, that means there is no free in the memory, then swap is going to using that. So normally like this memory we say that RAM is the RAM capacity, but swap is going to use that physical device, that is about a hard disk. So whenever the memory is full, but to handle that situation, then it is going to start using the swap method in the critical situations. Now we should always see the swap memory is a 0. Then we are good memory wise. Yeah, so this is overall statistics of this top command. System level CPU utilization, memory utilization, swap utilization, and the total number of processes which are running. Do you have any zombie process or not? And when the system was up, and how many users currently logged in? What is the load average on the system? And each process, the process of the CPU utilization, process of the memory utilization, and which process are in the priority. By default priority is 20. Any process you are starting is nothing but 20. Yeah, the priority of the process ID of the process, which user has been initiated the process, status of the process. Yes, these are some start sheets that we can get it with which command. What is the main command to analyze it? The CPU utilization, memory utilization, and the number of process and the zombie process. What is the command now?
Top command.
Yeah, that is top command. Very important command. Whenever we talk about the performance of the system, then we use the top command. Is it clear about that? Process and the process understanding with the PS command, PS with options, and auxiliary command, that is PS auxiliary command and top command. Or we have some other commands to get it better representation. PS tree also. Yes, now you can see this list of all the process in the tree structure. Yeah, system D is the main process. So this started the network manager. The two process we have, and you see this like SSD, SSD 5 process which are running. PS tree. So that is a process in the tree structure notation. So VBox service related the process 8 process are running that. SHD related services 5 processes are running that. Triple SD the 2 process, system D process, and a cron D is another service as we were talking about yesterday. Cron job you are running is nothing but cron D is important service for it. And this is simplifying about it, the overall the processes information. Yeah, PS tree top command, and we have the htop is also one more command. This is also top, but extension of the top command, but by default this is not available. You need to install the packages. Install htop. Okay, network is not available. That's why it is trying to keep on trying to connect to this net. But maybe this virtual machine I started 5 days back. Maybe network sockets has been dropped. I need to restart the system. Anyway, you can try that htop package. It is also like a same top command. So it is not getting installed and it is required network connectivity. So it is saying this failed. What we can do is let me go for restarting the system. Maybe that would be better. Vagrant halt. That is the beauty of the vagrant. You just use the vagrant halt and vagrant up, right? Yeah. So now let me recollect about that list of all the commands that to understand the process mechanism. So what are the commands we are understanding? Can you give me that the list quickly in the chart window meanwhile? Everyone, which belong to the process related.
PS, PSE, PS-F, and forest, tree,
Okay. Yeah.
then
Tree is
PS
also
items.
AUX auxiliary command and
yes, auxiliary command.
the grip PSFNEX pipe symbol with the grip J, the zombie process how to check backend.
Zombie process identification.
PS tree as we discussed recent top htop.
Yeah, htop. Yes, htop is almost like as a top command, but some better GUI representation. So let me try to show that that's one as well as. But if you know the top command, there's more enough. But htop is advanced to the top.
Sir,
Yeah, yes, please.
when we are using auxiliary command, status showing SS plus means what it represents?
Yeah, that is
SS plus.
SS plus, like it is the meaning of is. Suppose if you just observe that, like R plus, which is showing that PS auxiliary command, that command, whenever it is executing, it is still in the process of it. That means that is not completely into the status of the running. That is still in the process of it. That means sleeping is also SS plus, meaning that is it is not completely in the sleep mode. It is going to. It is in the process of it. That is the meaning of it. So is it have got the point?
SS. Understand.
Yeah, so that is in the process. I mean, into that process. Like it is not yet completed, but it is in the process of that. Yeah, so let me go ahead and install the htop. Yeah, before it was a network issue. So where the network sockets was dropped.
So sometimes the halt is not working whenever we shut down the process of vagrant. Sometimes not exactly, but sometimes when I stop the vagrant process only, the halt is not working. It is
Yeah, if you share that error, I mean that error related screenshot, then we can analyze that what could be the reason of it.
yeah, okay.
But without knowing that error, I cannot conclude it. Maybe background process if it is running and still that is maybe that is in the waiting state, and you need to wait until that process completes.
Okay, got it. Let me share by WhatsApp.
Yeah. So whenever you have that error, please share in the WhatsApp group. Then we can check it.
Definitely, sir. Thank you. Thanks for the information.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, htop we had just installed. So how do we install that's the packages? I just htop I need it, and this package how do I going to adding to the system is I'm installing that htop package by using minstall. That is next concept we are coming to that. So installing these packages and starting and stopping the services, that's we are going to talk it. But just note this point for the timing. If you need that htop is not available by default. You need to install the package. How do we install the package? It says install and the package name and with the confirmation that is -5. But if you like to execute this command, you need to have the super user privileges. But how do we get it how do we run the commands with the super user is? That is sudo. So this is a command. So use it. Now you see that it has been installed htop. This is a version of it 3.2.1 and enterprise Linux, and which is supporting the 64-bit architecture. And now installation is complete. So we are good. Now if I run the htop command, so it is also like as a top command. Yeah, you need to just could not resolve the post it is saying this. So you need to just restart the system and re-verify that. That is a network issue.
No, I restarted twice, but still I got the same error. So just thought anything else issue. Maybe I'll try it again.
Okay, do one thing, update the system, update,
Okay.
run the command sudo update, then you can try with that. Yeah, so good. Now you see this is like a total tasks, how many it is running, and out of that 25 threads which are showing.
Also, just wanted to know how to break from a session. Like if I click Control C, I'm just coming
Mhm.
outside from the the
Yeah,
server.
exactly. So even the same thing also, the recent, the latest Git bash terminal, it is terminating that the complete, it is, we are getting out of that. Even I also facing the recently from that issue. I didn't check it exactly from the Git bash. Maybe the latest version that is having limitation. I need to check the settings. Maybe I haven't gone through that. I need to re-verify that. Actually, if you do the control C, it should be only the session. It has to be exited, but it is exiting that entire the shell itself. I will check it. I will check it that and let you know.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So now we can see this. The better representation of the top command. This is htop. Now we see this here memory utilization is 167 MB out of that 1.77 GB. So it is a very clear the cut idea giving this. Say about that the CPU utilization and about that the current system resources utilization, system deprocess, and memory utilization, swap memory. So it is OK status swap memory. And main tasks which are running that 27 and 25 threads are running that, but kernel threads only running that 77. But actual two processes only running that, or two or one, it is keep on updating that even that also. And the load average, the last 1 minute 0.03 percentage, and last 10 minutes and last 15 minutes. So this is the load average on the system, and system up the 6 minutes back it was started the system. The same, almost the same like as the top command, but better representation, which is having. And you can apply that here. You see this, like I would like to see that which process consume that more memory. Yes, so if I click on this, then I'm going to apply that ascending or descending order. Yes, now this process. So this like library related yeah, so this is a VBox process which is consuming the more. CPU utilization, library execution. And the next 2.3 another process 2.2. So this is a memory utilization which a process consume that, like the CPU utilization which a process is consuming that. Yes, you can apply that, the ascending and descending order. Yeah, the process ID based and user based. Remaining story is the same thing, and you can sort. Yes, you can apply the sort on the base of that is percentage of the CPU utilization or percentage of the memory. Yes, you can apply that here and apply enter, and it will be applied that on the particular field. Yes, you have the shortcut keys also. F1 for help, F2 for setup, and set that the particular string. And you see the select filter option, the tree structure notation. Yeah, this is a tree structure notation of the process. Or if you need the list based, you can see this list based also. And you can kill that the process also F9, but don't apply that the kill process, not required. And you can quit this by using that quit option. Yeah, that is htop, somewhat advanced to that, like a top command. So very better utility to apply that ascending and descending order on the particular fields. Is it clear about that top and htop?
Yes.
Okay, good. So far we are understanding that the process, how to view that, and the process related memory utilization, CPU utilization, and system level CPU utilization, memory utilizations. And we have another command also to view that the memory, especially only the memory, free command. Yes, this is about the memory and the swap memory details to know that. But normally it is given us in the bytes format. But if you need it, that's in the better format, free hyphen human readable format which you can use it. I hope so small h which you can use it. And you can see that yes, the total size 1.18 GB and use 166 MB, free 1.2 GB that is available. And shade one, which is going to shade to that other service 16 megabytes, and cache which is using 459 megabytes, available 1.5 GB. The overall swap memory, it is not using anything. Everything that is a free. Yeah, free is also another beautiful command. Especially this is for the memory to check it that or to analyze it. Current system, the memory utilization. htop is evergreen. All that the information you can get it. Tasks information, load average, users, number of users connected, CPU utilization, memory utilization, and each process, the process by the CPU utilization, memory utilization, and status of the process. Yeah, so that's about some important commands which belong to that, the process and the system resources, analyzing that. These are all, I mean, these commands will be helpful, especially in the performance and tuning. If the request and response of that users are facing with the latency issues, that means more time that, I mean, their requests are taking the more time, then you need to analyze system level. These are all the important resources. If the CPU is reached, that's 99%. Sometimes, I mean, in our Windows also, about our system will get hang. If you keep on opening the systems, I mean, there is applications, and you didn't restart it recently. It was restarted 10 days before. Obviously, the system performance, whenever we are loading that applications or starting that application, it takes some time. And whenever you restart it, immediately that will be very fast. But if it is slowly, whenever you are opening the more apps, then automatically the system performance will be degraded. Yeah, during the time, so which process are consuming the more CPU, more memory utilizations, especially that's the CPU utilizations, memory utilization with the number of tasks and identifying the any zombie process. Zombie process is nothing but that there is no usage of that process, but that process is up and running and which is consuming some amount of the memory and RAM. So you are not using that resource, but it is consuming the resource. Then what is the need of that those process up and running? Then we need to kill it. Yeah, so these are all main activities. Understanding of the performance and tuning is one of the important activity on the system level. But next, still it is not done process mechanism, but we have foreground and background options. What is the foreground and background of the process? This is also one more important concept. Suppose if I run it that sleep command, some particular time that is such in the 1000 seconds of the time. What is the sleep? That means now this is one process is going to start in, and I am going to putting this process into the sleep mode. For how much time? 1000 seconds of the time. Now you see this it is entered into the sleep mode. Now my cursor position is it is blinking here, but I cannot give that or I cannot run any other commands, right? Because this has been started in the foreground. Now this is the process interactive. So that's why it is prompting that enter that any other machine. But when you cannot enter that other commands. Suppose if I run the PS command, it doesn't take it. There is no meaning of it. Until that the 1000 seconds, I need to wait it. Because the process has been started foreground. But if you like to kill this process, if you like to come out of that process state, then what is the command that we need to use it? Control
D, C or D?
I'll come back. For the time, Control C. Yes, that is kill that the process. But this Control C actually only this has to be ended. Only this the shell. I mean this command we need to exit it. But it is exiting that actual this vagrant shell also. So maybe is it the problem with the vagrant CentOS 8 box, or I need to check with that like a git bash problem? Because Control C, whenever we do that, only this command it has to be we are exiting that. That means we are forcefully stopping that. Simple. So Control C you can apply that. But let me log into the system once again, the background machine. Actually, this Control C should be applied only in this virtual machine, but it is applying this exiting that virtual machine. That means it is exiting the bash shell also.
Yeah, we'll terminate a running program exactly.
Yeah, running the terminating program. Yeah, so that's about, I mean, I just started this one in the foreground. The foreground, yes. So whenever whenever the process is started in the foreground, it is the terminal level it is starting. And if I use it the Control C, it is exiting that the process. So now if I check it about the ps-ef, is it running that the sleep process? We check for the sleep process, no process is up and running. This is my grep command. The grep command related the process. This is not the sleep command. So sleep, I mean, that's one of the command. Just we are using that example as a sleep command. But any process you are running is nothing but we directly run that command we are running in the foreground. That command we are running in the foreground. But I would like to run this command in the background. Any command, not only just sleep, but sleep I'm just managing that sometime the process is up and running. That's point of I'm using this command. Suppose if I use it something pwd command, it is just executing and it is just stopping, right? The process is executing and it is exited immediately. And we are getting this immediately the command prompt. We are good. But I need to wait that the process sometime. That's point of time I'm using the sleep command. But sleep, and if I give that the seconds of the time, suppose sleep 10 seconds. That means 10 seconds that is holding the process. I cannot interact with this shell. Then after this process is exited, then I can get that my terminal back. So my sleep process has been exited. Okay, this is a foreground option, but I don't want to run the foreground. Suppose you are starting the services. Suppose Tomcat service you are starting or stopping. Stopping, okay, leave it off that. Foreground, background doesn't matter that. But especially starting time. You are starting any service is nothing but the service should be up and running 24/7 in the environment. Until if you have the requirement or restarting the services, yes, you need to make sure that service is up and running. But if I start the process in the foreground, suppose let me open this one more git bash terminal. I'm going to open this one more git bash terminal. So just a minute. Let me go to the D drive and where we have doing this workspace. Where is my vagrant box is? Let me use it vagrant SSH. Do you see the screen? Two windows.
Yes, yes.
Okay, the same system, but I have connected through using this two terminals. So this is one terminal, this is another terminal. System is only one. Okay, suppose a sleep if I run it, sleep with 100 seconds, and this is running in the foreground. But if I check it that like a ps-ef and with the grep of the sleep is running it or not? Yes, you see that sleep 100, what are the command I have given that is up and running. Who has started? Vagrant user. This is the process ID of it, and this is the parent process ID. And this is the time, and this is the command, actual command. Yeah, until this is ended, but it has been started in the foreground, but still it is continuing that 100 seconds. Until that, my process is up and running. But this one we have done in the foreground. But suppose if I close this, I'm going to close this terminal. If I close this terminal, that means I forcefully terminated this shell. Now, what is the status of this sleep command? If I close the terminal, my sleep process also terminated. But what we are expecting that if I close the terminal, my process should not be exited. Suppose whenever we are using these terminals and whenever we start the server, if the server is started in the foreground, by mistake, if I close this terminal, my server is also shut down, right? During the log of the system, I need to close all my terminals. If I close the terminal, my system also will be shut down, but I don't want to shut down like that. So what is the recommended option is, what do we use it? So let me use it the 1000 seconds, and we will run the process as a background process. But how do you run the process as a background process? Ampersand. Now you see that I immediately got that interactive with the shell. That means my process is up and running, but where it is running? In the background it is running. Now if I check it about the PS command, the grep of sleep, yes, sleep 1000, yes, that is still up and running, and this is the process ID. 24208 is the process ID. So it is created the process ID and the process is running in the background. Even if I close this terminal also, my sleep command is still up and running on the system until if I shut down the system. Or this command, it is going to run it 1000 seconds of the time. After that, it is gracefully shutting down. Are you clear understanding about the foreground and background jobs running?
Yes, sir. Perfect.
Yeah, how do you run the jobs in job is nothing but command. Which command you are running that? Okay, here I am running the command. That could be any command. Yes, if you directly give the command, that is in the foreground. But some commands which will execute immediately, you see there's a PWD. PWD is also I am running to the foreground. But it is not required the 24/7 up and running. But if I'm running my database service or middleware service or web service, yes, these servers should be up and running the 24/7. But we should not run it in the foreground. We should run those services. Whenever the system is up and running, those services should be up and running. So we will run those services as a background services. But in the Linux, how do we run that particular script or particular command in the background is we use the ampersand. Yes, so still the sleep process running. Yes, still that is running. 1000 seconds are not yet done. 1000 is nothing but almost 15 minutes about that, right? So after the 15 minutes, yes, it is going to stop it automatically. That's fine. Yeah, so how do we run the process? Default, what are the command we are running? These are all foreground. But some process we need to run it as a background process, that is especially starting the services. But how do we run the process as a background? That is ampersand user. Okay, by mistake, I have run my process something 500. Let me give that. I have started the process in the foreground by mistake. But I need to move this process to the background. What do we need to do the normally? Control C. So exit that the service. You are exiting the services and the process ID is going to change, right? If you exit the process and if you start the new process IDs are going to changing that.
Correct.
Background, what's going to happen? The process ID is changing. But on the same process ID, I would like to start this process as a background process. What do we do? That we'll apply the control G. That is jet. That is stopping the process. Process ID is the same. But I just stopped for the timing. Then what I can do this is I can check it the list of all the jobs which are running. Yes, you can run that jobs command, list of all the jobs which were started. As you see the the sleep 1000, this was one of the process which is running as a background. It is running still. That is the job number 1. And job number 2, that is a stop. So that is a sleep 500. Control, sorry. If you start the process in the foreground, but if you like to bring this to the background, first to stop the process. That is control Z. Control C is killing the process, but control Z is stopping the process. Killing is different. That means entire process also which will be deleted. Now if I check it with the grep command, yeah, 500 this is a process. And 1000, okay, this is the process. Fine. This was started initially itself, and it is still the same process. But I need to bring this one to the background, this command. What is the job number here we have? 2 is a job number. But how do I bring back to this? This is job to the background is, we can run it BG and job number. What is the job number? 50. Now it has been started with the sleep 500 command with ampersand. You see that? Now it has been appended ampersand. Before we forgot that ampersand giving that, but yes, now it has been appended with ampersand. Now if I see this, my jobs, yes, sleep 500 also, which has been started with the ampersand. That means foreground job, how do we bring it to the background is. So if you by mistake, if you started that the process, and if you like to bring that process to the background, then first to apply the control jet, that means stop the process, then use the jobs command, identify the job ID of that, and use that the BG background and the job number. So this job number is going to bring back to the as a background process. Now sleep commands, 2 sleep commands are running, and these 2 are in the background process. Suppose I have the job which is running the background, but I need to bring to the foreground. Can I bring it? Yes, the same process. Identify the list of all the jobs. Yes, we have the 2 jobs. Suppose sleep 1000, what are the command we have? I need to bring to the foreground. Then use the FG command. BG the background, FG foreground. And what is the job number? 1. Now you see this, that is in the interactive mode. It is in the foreground now. So identify the jobs. How do I identify the jobs? List of all the jobs which are running. That is jobs command. And using this jobs command, we can bring that these jobs either background to the foreground, or the background to the foreground or foreground to the background. So what are the commands which are helping? FG or BG. BG for the background or FG for the foreground. Is it clear about the jobs management? Okay, good. Yeah, so this is about understanding the process mechanism and process related yeah, that's like CPU utilization, memory utilization, and which are all the process or the zombie process, and how do you know that the system level that CPU utilization, memory utilization are tasks which are running, which are all the users are using. That is with the top command, and identify the list of all the jobs which are running on the system, and make sure that whenever you are starting the job which is required as a 24/7, if it is required to run it, so start the process in the background. That is recommended. But how do you start the process in the background is by using ampersand command. You can use it that while launching that any scripts, that script is required to run in the background, then you can use it ampersand command. But if you have this by mistake, you would have launched it to the foreground, yes, without changing the process ID. Why we should not change the process ID is, suppose on the system, in the real time, if you just observe that in the system, we will be having background some monitoring services. So those monitoring services always going to tracking about the process ID. So if the particular process is killed, then immediately it is going to send the notification. That means all the managers or the teams or stakeholders, they will be knowing about it. Okay, the particular process stopped. Why it is stopped? Then immediately you need to give the reason for it, root cause. But that's we are doing that. If something is happened, okay, we can analyze it. What is the reason of it, and we can give the root cause. But we are doing the maintenance activities. But by mistake, instead of starting in the background, I started the foreground. But if I close the shell terminal, my process also will be closed. I mean, that will be shut down the process. If the shut down the process, then it will be triggered the mail. Then again, you need to say that answer for it. By mistake, I started the foreground, that's why it was stopped. But without getting the notification, I need to start that process in the background. How do you do that? Yeah, that the foreground process which was started, the first stop the process, control jet, and you identify the job number for it, and run that with the BG and the job number. Then it will start in the background. Even if you close the terminal also, that means you are logging off. If I exit here, is nothing but that is logging off from the system. But I'm not shutting down the system. Shutting down is vagrant halt. But if I run that exit command from this terminal, is nothing but I'm just log off from the system. A lot of difference, log off and shut down. Log off is about your current shell, current user shell. So foreground process are at a user shell level. If you close the shell, the process also which will be shut down. So recommended is background. Yeah, this is a very, very important concept in the real time whenever we are managing the services, which we should know these points. Is it clear about that? The process management, but still, I mean, I need to talk at one more point, that is forcefully how to kill the process. That is one thing. But until that, I've got this picture.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Now let's move into that. Suppose you have identified some zombie process. Zombie process, you need to kill it. How to kill the process? Yeah, we have, I mean, so it is kind of like, I mean, whenever we are stopping the process, always two approach which we use it. One is graceful, and second one is the forceful. So stopping the process either graceful or forceful. Which one is recommended? Graceful or forceful?
Graceful.
Yes, graceful is recommended. Suppose I started this process until it is the 1000 seconds. If I wait it, yes, then automatically it is going to stop it. That is a graceful shutting down of the process. But I don't want to wait until that's 1000 seconds. But immediately I need to stop this process. That means I'm going to do the forcefully killing the process. Yeah, the first approach is recommended, the graceful. But sometimes whenever you apply the graceful also, it doesn't respond it. Suppose sometimes in our Windows, whenever we are working with the Word documents or some files, not responding, you will see that. Not responding. Even if you try to close it also, it shows that not responding. That means you are trying to close the graceful, but it is not responding. Then what we need to do? We go for forcefully applying. So we go to the task manager. We will identify that the file, and we will use it end task. End task is nothing but that is forcefully shutting down the process. But if you have those any content which are modified, that won't be saved. That means you are losing the transaction data if you apply the forcefully. Yeah, in the live environments, we never apply that. The maximum possible cases, like 90 to 95%, we don't do the forceful. But some worst cases, the process doesn't respond it. And if you wait, after waiting some, that's 3 minutes or the 4 minutes or the 5 minutes also, still the process not responding, then we'll apply the forcefully killing the process. Suppose if you run this process like something 1000 in the background, yeah, now this process is up and running, but I don't want to run this process 1000 seconds, and I would like to close it immediately. So how do I, now I'm going to do that, forcefully killing that. How do we kill the process forcefully? Kill is the command. Kill -9 is a signal, we'll say that. So whenever you are applying that, the shutting down process, we have some signals. So -9 is that like the argument for the killing the process, and then we need to give the process ID. What is the process ID of this?
24255.
Yeah, 24255. Yes, now if you apply this grep sleep, yes, my the sleep process was killed. It was killed. That means it is in the jobs list. No, that is also not showing this in the jobs list. But whenever it is showing this in the grep of this process, one of the sleep process has been identified as a killed. Yeah, how do you kill the process? The forcefully, that is the kill -9 process ID. But don't, I mean, this is not recommended to apply that until there is a reason for it. In development or testing environments, you can use it. But in the production environment, don't try to apply the kill commands until you waited some time, but still the process is not responding. As a session timeouts, the time is also over, then you can go ahead and kill the process. Yeah, this is one more important thing, the graceful and forceful shutting down options, understanding. So recommended is graceful. So suppose you have started the service and you need to shut down it. Use the stop scripts for that, which are defined. Use the stop scripts. Then that is a graceful shutdown. But you have used the stop scripts, but still that process is not killing, not stopping. That means some transactions, maybe the stuck or some transactions still doing that, which are in the hang situation, hang. Then we go for applying that forceful. That is, take the process ID of it and apply the kill -9 process ID. Is it clear about that? Understanding the kill in the process, the graceful and the forceful meaning. Yeah, background process command ampersand, control C kill the foreground process, and control Z suspend the foreground process. And bringing the foreground to the background, use the background and job number. And bringing that the background to the foreground, you can use the AFG and the job number, but these are all the small cases, don't use the upper cases. And kill a process by the job number or process ID, kill -9 process ID, and you can view the list of all the jobs, that is jobs you can run it, and job number also you can specify that. And we have some kill other options also. So one option we are talking, that's -9, that is the forcefully the killing the process. But we have so displaying there's all the list of all the signals, as we are talking that 915 is available. But what are the list of all the signals are available is you can use it kill -L. Let me show that option. Yeah, listing all the signals. So what is the signal we have used now? That is 9. So this is the kill signal, killing the process. Or if you like to quit from the process, you can use the 3, kill -3 and a process ID. Initializing the process. And something 15, that is a terminating the process. And stopping the process, that is a 19. So there are all the different signals are available. So especially killing the process, that is a 9 is recommended. And sometimes we need to take that, sorry, randoms of the process. Then we use the kill -3. So quitting that with thread dumps taking -3 we use it. And sometimes terminating that the process pointer 15 also we can use that. Yeah, so that's about the process management activities. Are you clear about these points?
Yes, sir. Perfect.
Yeah, this is one of the important activity for the DevOps engineer, and especially whenever you are working SRE, that is site reliability engineer. So we need to make sure that the services or the sites are up and running as an operational engineer. DevOps, two activities. Operational activity, especially logging, that is troubleshooting activities, performance and tuning activities, and monitoring. But monitoring time, how do we analyze the system metrics about the CPU utilization, about the memory utilization, about that the number of processes which are running, zombie process information, and which process consume the more CPU, more memories, and swap memory is getting utilized it or not. That means free memory has been, free memory is not available. Then swap memory is coming. That means you need to check it about that which process consume that high memory utilization to take that actions on it. Maybe if it is required the immediate action, that is restarting the services. If you do that restarting the services, it will be reloaded with the fresh memory. And starting with the process with the fresh is the cache memories and everything that will be released back. Yeah, immediate action, that is maybe restarting the service. If the process consume that high and systems are get a hang, or process get a hang. Suppose sometimes on the Windows, whenever you are working, that the system will get a hang. What do we do that? We do the restart, immediate action. But if it is keep on happening that, then we need to check it about what about our RAM capacity and which are all the applications we are working, that applications to use it, that RAM capacity or the CPU core process unit that is sufficient or not, we need to check it. And maybe we need to go for increasing the system capacity. The more memory is taken that. Now, whenever we are buying the mobile, are you going to prefer the 2 GB RAM memory or the 8 GB RAM memory? Or 4 GB RAM memory? That is on the base of the requirement. I need to have this only calls receiving, calls management, and I don't use it other activities. Then 2 GB is enough for me. But I need to do some like a gaming or like a multi-process mechanism. I'm expecting that multiple tasks running that parallelly. Then I need to look at that more memory capacity, RAM capacity. Getting the points on this? The same concept on the Linux system. But what about the processes? Yeah, that is about HTTP services, that is web servers, or database servers, or middleware servers, or reporting services, or monitoring services. Even the cron job, yesterday which we were talking, there is also one more service which is going to consume that some amount of the memory and CPUs for it to run it up and running. Yeah, the tomorrow which we start about that, package management. Yes, now we understand that the process management. But today we are installing one package that is htop package. But what about these packages? And how do we install the packages, or how do we check it that list of all the installed packages? And what about that like mirrors list, Yes, whenever we are trying to install it, it is connecting to the mirrors. If the mirror list is okay, then it tries to find that. It is kind of App Store or Play Store. This will come back tomorrow to understand that. What is the package management? And once the package management is done, next to service management. Once the service management is done, then next to users management. All these are all important. These are all actually administration level, which we do that. But DevOps engineer, we should know it. But when it is going to helping that all these activities, we will talk it in the DevOps tools whenever we are learning that. If you are working with that Ansible, or if you are working with the Terraform, you should know all these things. Without having the system, there is no concept of working on the infra, right? Either Windows or Unix, which one you are going to use, that is application requirement. But at least most of the servers and the infras, that's percentage point of view, we should know the Linux. Yeah, so tomorrow we'll come back package management and service management. But anyway, today just practice about all these activities and keep on analyze it, that outputs, and go to the Google and check it about that. Each and every attribute in that output. So what is the virtual memory? What is the swap memory? What is the buffer or cache? So refer those activities and explore it and come back to the tomorrow. That is, we'll talk at the package. Yeah, so that's all from my side for today. So understanding. So one of the performance and tuning as an operation engineer, which is required. Is it clear to everyone? Any queries, questions, please let me know before going to close up for today.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome, no problem. Thank you. So this is the error. It seems like errors during the downloading the metadata for repository upstream. So this is repository configuration error. So what is that? The vagrant box name which you are using? Are you using that vagrant or are you using that any other vagrant itself? Right? Yeah, it seems vagrant. Okay. But box name I should know it. So which version of that CentOS are you using? Yeah. So ping this in the WhatsApp group, then I'll check it and let you know about this. But before that, so which version of the vagrant box you have installed, just let me know. Yeah, thank you all. So that's all from my side, and we'll meet tomorrow and we'll continue understanding another concept, package. Thank you all.